Hi BookTube! So over this past weekend, I decided to explore the historic Irvington area of Portland just to walk around, look at the little free libraries and the houses and the shops and restaurants and just explore the area and get to know it a bit better. And I decided to vlog it. I'm going to share that with you now and then come back and show you some of the books that I picked up at the little free libraries. So here are the books, and I decided to grab this one, Down a Dark Road, Linda Castillo, because Sarah over at the not the Book Center, her category romance, I never can remember her new channel name, but she has mentioned this author multiple times during the Amish in April reading event. So I was like, perfect for me to read in April. But they're not the typical Amish stories. They're seems to be kind of gritty. It says a murder in Amish country. In the description, it was talking about how he's convicted of murdering his wife and sentenced to life in prison. So, yeah, not your quaint Amish story. You might hear Fable breathing in the background because she's very interested. But I got a little mini cute caramel latte and a chocolate croissant. And Fable's really, really interested. Hi, Fable. I guess it still feels like fall here. I haven't had a winter. It hasn't snowed at all. I want to show you some of the houses. I always like how they're painted different colors. So much moss. And I went from pumpkins, now it's spring flowers. Oh my goodness, there's a coyote. Right near Fable. Oh, and there's the owner shooed it away. I feel like I need a botany class. I don't know what these flowers are, but spring has sprung. And I really like to look at this house. But speaking of botany, this tree has a name on it. It's a London planetary, Platamus extrifolia. From coyotes to chickens. And they have a sign talking about the kinds they have. This gigantic house has a proper free library. Let's see what I can find, if anything good. Thank you. I like the twisted tree too. I hear your Fables. Hello. And right beside this is free library. We just saw one of these. Well, it seems to be like pamphlets. Pamphlets and library. There's a car library, and the car of the month is that a Corvette? I don't know. I don't know cars. What is this? There's no name of it. Yep, nope, no name. But is this what it is? Car of the month? Perfect for little boys. Girls. Jane Emily Patricia Clapp. Witch of Blackbird Pond. I really like that book. I think a lot of kids liked. She's ready to climb all the way to the top. little mushroom house beside the free library. I like the windows. Watching for squirrels. For fans of the Beverly Cleary Ramona Quimby series, look at that street. I had such a nice time out exploring the historic area and showing you and taking you along with me and showing you the gigantic houses and all the moss and the animals and whatnot. And I went to several little free libraries, and whether I picked up a book or not at those free libraries, I was stuffing them full of books because I came with a big bag loaded with books, and I wanted to come home with just a sliver of the amount I was giving away. And so I chose 4 books from the little free libraries, and I wanted to share with them with you. And they're all random books. So this first one is part of the American Girls series, and I read these books back when I was a kid, like early elementary school age. And so I read the original, I think 4 or 5 girls, and so this was one of them, Kirsten. I've never read this book in particular, but back in December, I had saw someone on Bookstagram, and I can't remember their name, where I'd seen, but they were rereading each of the American Girls Christmas books, because there's Kirsten, there's Samantha, Josephina, Molly, and I think someone else. So there's 4 or 5 of them, and so each of them, as part of their like 5 or 6 books, each of them has a holiday book, and it talks about what it was like for each of their generations. So this one is I think takes place in the 1800s. 1854 is Kirsten's series, and she moves to Minnesota, and so I wanted to read her. So I reread these back in December because I wanted to read that Christmas scene, but also like, why not just go ahead and read the whole series? Because they're not this slim, but they are really slim books. This is like a short story. So I had a lot of fun reading that because I want to read hers because she is Swedish. So even though she's living in Minnesota, they still are celebrating the Swedish traditions for Christmas. And so it was with like the, what is it called? Where they have like the candles on the crown. And you would think I would remember. I just read it. Is it Lucia? St. Lucia? It's coming back to me now. Something like that. So anyway, I saw this book at the little free library. I was like, oh, because when I had logged the information on Goodreads back when I was reading it in December, I saw there was a couple short stories, thinking I'm never going to see them. I'm never going to see them at my local library. My ebook library is not going to have it either. But lo and behold, I found this. So this is Kirsten on the Trail, and this is about her meeting her secret Indian friend who returns, Singing Bird. And she is, Singing Bird is featured in the main series, and this is a short story like them going off and exploring an area. So anyway, long story short, that's why, hello Fable, that's why I picked up this one. she's very curious. Like, again, me talking, but also this cat is like darting here, there, and everywhere. Hopefully the cat doesn't knock over the camera. Okay, so changing gears completely. I found Jane Emily by Patricia Clapp. Know nothing about this, never heard of the author, but it was the one thing that caught my eye was I'm kind of like harking back to childhood books. This one is mentioning The Witch of Blackbird Pond, and I was like, oh, that was a book I reread years ago, but I reread it years ago as an adult and really liked it. And so this is saying it's similar to that main character. It says the main character, Constance, is engaging, high-spirited heroine of a fine historical novel, written with verve and fresh imagination. So I was like, yes, sign me up. And they're actually looking at this. There's two references, two blurbs referencing The Witch of Blackbird Pond. This one says probably the best colonial story for girls since The Witch of Blackbird Pond. So any fans of that book, I'm having I have high hopes for this one. But let me see. It's it's the author of Constance. Okay, so Constance is the one mentioned here. Well, okay. Anyway, so this is a different book. Maybe it's like a sequel. I don't know, or this is an additional book written by the author. So, well, darn it. Because this is talking about a book she previously wrote. But for Jane Emily, this book in particular, it's saying there's 18-year-old Louisa Amory, who is her summer is spent in a forbidding house in quiet New England town, with only her little orphaned niece Jane and elderly Mrs. Canfield as company, promising nothing but boredom. Okay, never mind. It could still be the Witch of Blackbird Pond related, with it being, the colonial times and all that. So anyway, we will see how this goes. It's giving me a feeling of like young adult or a children's book for like the gothic romantic suspense that I loved as a kid. I loved this as a kid too, like where you're following like a woman, she goes into this like spooky castle and has to like run for her life towards the end of it. So maybe this will be similar. Okay, speaking of like thrillery kind of books, and I mentioned this in one of the video clips, I believe, I found Linda Castillo's Down a Dark Road, which is labeled a thriller, and this is set in the Amish country, but it is not like any other Amish book or any other Amish series I have read before. I read the first one or two of this series. Does it list them? Because I can't remember exactly the name. Let me see here. Okay, I read Sworn to Silence. I'm guessing that's the first book. This was the first here. So Sworn to Silence and Pray for Silence. I at least read the first one, if not the second one. And this looks like it's like book 10 or so in the series. But Amish in April is coming up next month. I mean, not next month. 2 months from now. It's not March yet, but we're close to it. And so I was like, why not read this? I don't have to read them all in order. Once I read this, I can go back and catch up where I'm at. But these are much more of a gritty series. This is, it says, 2 years ago, there's a fallen Amish man, Joseph, who was convicted of murder for murdering his wife and sentenced to life in prison. And now the convicted murderer, has escaped from prison. So you can see that there's a darker element here. They're not all like pious, well-mannered people like you would expect for Amish books, but still lots of fun and a different take on things. And this last one here is by Gary John Anderson. It's called The Nevada Badlands, and this is the Exeter series, book 1. And looking at this, I think my cat got to it. I don't know. There's so any book that's like sticking out a little bit, he's chewing on them, and like chewing with a vengeance. Like not a little nibbling. He's biting in as hard as he can. It's a thing. But okay, here's the author here. And it seems to be like a self-published book. It says Gary John Anderson has been married to his wife for 3.5 decades. Okay, and I'm assuming it doesn't say if he lives in Nevada, but I would think so with this like Western-ish, Western themed of books out there. And I wanted to save this for June on the Range, where we read Westerns in June. It's funny. It's saying like he's been living, he's been married to his wife for over 3 decades. And then the first sentence of the description of the book says, after 3 decades as a small town sheriff, Elijah has become disillusioned with the lack of effect that he has upon the men and women that he has thrown into prison time and time again. Coupled with his own personal tragedy, Eli sets out to start a new life and a new career. Seeking to reach the people who need help the most, he opens a church and a saloon, but he soon discovers that leaving behind his old life is not as easy as it sounds. What simply seems to be the right thing to do soon turns into his own real nightmare. Okay, so I wonder if this is the author himself. Oh yeah, okay. He's recently retired from full-time police work. He now spends his time, this next phase of his life, writing. Okay, so for sure, I feel like there's not exactly auto-fiction, but I feel like the author is pulling from his experience as a policeman in Nevada, I'm assuming. But I will report back. I might read this sooner than June. I don't know. I might not be able to hold off, but we will see. So those are the 4 books that I got. Like I said, I probably donated maybe 40 books, and I got 4 in return. So that's about the ratio I want, because I don't need any more books, but it's still fun to browse and look around and eat all the good foods and whatnot. But I had a lot of fun, not only looking at the books and coming home with a book haul, but sharing it with you was really nice, because I always like watching, whether it's like walking vlogs or like, the neighborhoods like I went to, or just going to different little free libraries. It's fun to watch. So I wanted to make one of my own, but I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.